So another week of football has wrapped up, and now it's Thanksgiving week, the most important football of the year. I've been saying that for the past few weeks since we've passed week 10. Yeah, it's playoff football time, and there's some teams that desperately need wins. I also need to get some games correct, and this week, I actually got the games correct, 11-3 for once. We're not going to talk about the spread. So let's get into the picks because it's comeback time for me. Let's start with the Thanksgiving games. First one, the Packers versus the Lions. Both of these teams need a win this week. They both have 7 wins and are a game behind the Bears. And currently, the Lions are sitting outside of the playoff picture right now. It is a tough playoff picture in both conferences, in both the AFC and NFC. And if you want to make the playoffs at this point, you need to win games. But I believe in the Lions more. Yes, they nearly lost to the Giants, but so did the Packers. They apparently just have a weakness towards the Giants. The Lions look to avenge their loss from earlier on in the season, which is starting to look a little more of an outlier because the Packers, it's kind of hard to believe in them right now. And the spread, I'm going with the Lions. Spreads over 3 were a nightmare last week. And the next Thanksgiving game, which might be the most exciting one, is the Chiefs versus the Cowboys. Both of these teams are in must-win scenarios and can't afford many losses the rest of the way. The Chiefs are sitting out of the playoffs for like the first time in years at Thanksgiving weekend. The Cowboys, well, they had some stumbles early on in the season thanks to their bad defense, which seems to have improved a little bit over the past few weeks. The Chiefs got a much-needed win last week, and the Cowboys came back from a huge deficit to also get a much-needed win. Who can keep their season alive and whose season is on the edge? I believe the Chiefs. They just have the pedigree. I trust them more in these types of games. And, oh boy, we have another 3.5 spread. Don't let me down this time. Next up, we have the Bengals and Ravens. The Bengals, they get some huge news. Joe Burrow is going to play this weekend, and so is Jamar Chase. Those are 2 huge additions back in the lineup. I mean, the Bengals season is very close to dead at this point, 3-8, but don't tell that to Joe Burrow. He doesn't care. As far as he cares, he thinks they can go 9-8 and make the playoffs. 9-8 could be enough to win the division. I don't know. The AFC North this year is just weird. The Ravens, they're on a 5-game winning streak after starting 1-5. I'm going to pick the upset here. I think getting Joe Burrow back is going to be huge. And just something is up with the Ravens offense. I don't know what it is. Lamar might still be hurting right now. Derrick Henry just isn't the same this year. And the defense, though, it has been better so far. I think Joe Burrow can exploit them. And the spread, I would have picked the Bengals regardless, to be honest. Next up, we have the Bears and Eagles, 2 teams that I'm surprised are 8-3 at this point in the season. The Bears, I'm surprised they got that many wins. The Eagles, how are they not 9-2 right now? At least. I don't get it. The Eagles have just been weird all year. Their defense has been good all year. Their offense has not. Something's up with the offense. It just looks out of sync. Saquon isn't the same player. The passing game is super inconsistent. The offensive line is not nearly as good. And the Bears, they're winning games. I'll give them that. It's never pretty with the Bears, but hey, 8 wins? If you're looking back at a few years from now, you're probably going to forget how they got most of these wins. But I'm going to be taking the Eagles here. I just trust the Eagles a little bit more. And the spread, well, I don't trust the Eagles that much. I'm taking the Bears on the spread. Next up, we have the 49ers and Browns. The 49ers, they had a very ugly win on Monday Night Football. And the Browns, they had a win, finally, with Shedeur Sanders, who made a few good throws. He was okay. It wasn't exactly the greatest of performances, but it was enough to win, where the run game took primary control. And the Browns couldn't really move the ball all that much outside of the first quarter and final quarter. I don't think the Browns will be moving the ball much. The 49ers, meanwhile, I do have some concerns about Brock Purdy. 3 turnovers for no apparent reason. That was very strange. I think he's trying too much and should just give the ball more to CMC. When they gave the ball to CMC, it generally worked out pretty well. I'm going to give it to the 49ers. I do have my concerns about the 49ers, especially against this Browns defense, but I just don't trust the Browns offense. And the spread, not thrilled with the spread. I'm going to go with the 49ers, but I could understand if you go with the Browns. Next up, we have the Jaguars and Titans. The Jaguars, I don't know what kind of team they are. Yes, following up a embarrassing collapse against the Texans, you blow out the Chargers, and then you go to overtime against the Cardinals. Yeah, very sensible team there. Next up is the Titans, who actually got really close to coming back against the Seahawks, had one drive gone their way. It was a low chance they would have come back, but it was not impossible because Cam Ward was making some good throws. The Jaguars, they need this win in order to keep up in the division. This, on paper, should be a generally easy win, but the Jaguars do not make any win easy, except the Chargers one. That was probably the easiest one they had all season. I will take the Jaguars because they need this win, and generally, when they need a win, they've been pretty good. The spread, I have no idea what to pick in the spread. Are the Jaguars going to dominate, or are they going to play down to their competition? I have no idea. I'll pick the Jaguars because I don't really trust the Titans, but the Titans showed something last week, so I don't know. Next up, we have the Texans and Colts. Another big AFC South matchup. The Colts, they're just trying to maintain their lead because their loss last week opened the door for this division. The Texans had a huge upset over the Bills, and that defense is nasty. They get CJ Stroud back this week, who, I don't know, the offense looked a little bit better with Davis Mills, but maybe the rest will help CJ Stroud get back to what we've seen before. Who knows? But can the Texans shut the Colts down? Because though the Texans' pass defense is excellent and their pass rush is amazing, their rush defense isn't exactly the strongest part of their defense. Sure, they can easily just stack the box and dare Daniel Jones to beat them because Daniel Jones couldn't beat the Chiefs last week. Maybe that sort of strategy will work again and the Texans can get another huge win. But I think Jonathan Taylor has a big game here and does enough to get the Colts over the finish line. The spread, the 3.5 spreads last week killed me. I'm going to pick the Texans here. Next up, we have the Saints and Dolphins. Let's be real, this is not a very interesting matchup. Saints, they're not playing for anything. And the Dolphins, they've been playing some decent football as of late. They could end with an actually decent record to the end of the season. Maybe like 7-10, 8-9. I think it's too little too late at this point because they were playing so bad early on in the season. They had some good wins as of late. I think this will be another solid win for them. It might keep Mike McDaniels around, which I don't know if Dolphins fans want, but that's just kind of the reality. And the spread, I will also be taking the Dolphins here. Next up, we have the Falcons and Jets. The Falcons are surprisingly still alive in the playoff race. Not for the wild card. They have no chance at the wild card. But the division is wide open right now. Now, the only problem is they were swept by the Panthers, so they would need to be a game ahead of the Panthers in order to win. But 6 weeks left to go. If you stack some wins and the Panthers take a few losses, you might get lucky there. And the Buccaneers, well, they lost Baker Mayfield for maybe a week or two. And I don't exactly have high confidence in the Buccaneers without Baker Mayfield. So, hey, if the Falcons can get some wins, they might be something. The Jets, they're the Jets. They're playing for a top 5 pick. I'm actually going to pick the Falcons here because you know what? Kirk Cousins showed enough last week that maybe he's something. And the spread, I will also be taking the Falcons here. Next up, we have the Cardinals and Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, yeah, they're in a really tough spot right now. They got dominated by the Rams last week. And yeah, it was not close. The Buccaneers are very hurt right now, but they will get Bucky Irvin back this week. Probably, actually, hopefully. I need it for my fantasy teams. But the Cardinals, at some point, something has to break their way. They've been in so many close games that have ended in a heartbreak for them. At some point, they have to win a game. And I think this is the week they win a game. yes, I really don't trust the Buccaneers with Teddy Bridgewater. The spread, I will be taking the Cardinals there because I picked them. And our last 1 p.m. game, the Rams versus the Panthers. If you looked at the records, you thought this might be an interesting game. But if you actually watched the Panthers play football, yeah, it's probably not going to be. And the Rams, well, if you watch them, you'll probably assume domination. I mean, the Panthers defense might be solid, but I don't really trust the Panthers offense, especially against this Rams defense. Rams look like the best team. With how this season's gone, I would not be surprised to see the Panthers just get a random upset here. But I will be taking the Rams here. And the spread, if there's any team that can cover, it's the Rams. None of the teams last week did. Now with our late slate, we got the Vikings versus the Seahawks. The Vikings, yeah, they're missing J.J. McCarthy, but that's probably a good thing. And the Seahawks, they look like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Their defense is fantastic. JSN is going for that 2,000-yard mark this year. Sam Darnold is having a good season this year. I mean, everything's bouncing right for the Seahawks. I think things will bounce right for the Seahawks in this game as well, but I would not be surprised to see Max Brosmer for some reason turn into prime Tom Brady all of a sudden. And the spread, I'm actually going to be taking the Vikings here because I said I would not be surprised to see Max Brosmer be really good for some reason. Next up, we have the Bills and Steelers. The Bills, they are kind of reeling after last week. That was a bad loss to take to basically take them out of the division race. And the Steelers, well, they are still alive in their division race. They are tied for first and desperately need some wins. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back this week. It looks like he was close to playing last week. It's possible he's back here, and the Bills defense isn't exactly the strongest against the run, that is. And the Steelers, they've shown to be a strong running team this year, so I would not be surprised to see that cause some problems for the Bills. But I trust the Bills more in this game, so I'm going to take them here. And the spread, I will also be taking them here. Next up, we have the Raiders and Chargers. This is an interesting division matchup. For the Chargers, that is. They are still in the division race, though the Broncos have a pretty hefty lead. If they can pick up some division wins, especially against the Raiders, that will be big. The Raiders, meanwhile, yeah, they've looked pretty bad thanks to their offensive line not blocking anybody. The Chargers, they have a pretty solid defensive line themselves, so I could see the Raiders also having a hard time here, but I don't think it'll be nearly as bad as last week, but I still do trust the Chargers here, so I will be selecting them here. And the spread, I don't actually trust the Chargers that much, so I'll be picking the Raiders. Now we have our Sunday night game, the Broncos versus Commanders. This was a much more interesting game at the start of the season when we thought the Commanders would be something. Well, the Commanders' offense is just completely gone. Everybody's hurt. And the Broncos, their defense is excellent like we thought it'd be. So I will be taking the Broncos here. There's not really much to talk about. Broncos defense dominates the Commanders, and the Broncos offense shows up in the fourth quarter. Spread, I will also be taking the Broncos here. And our last game of the week and the first game of December, we have the Giants versus the Patriots. A rematch of several Super Bowls. Now, it's not nearly as interesting as those Super Bowls because the Giants, they are the first team eliminated this year. Surprised it was the Giants out of all teams. I would have named at least 5 other teams that were better candidates, but math is math, and they are the first team to be mathematically eliminated. I don't know what scenarios keep the other teams in, like the Titans, but here we are. And the Patriots, they're looking to hold on to the number 1 overall seed. Can they do it this game? Probably. I'm going to take them here. And the spread, to be honest, the Giants do play teams close, so I'll actually be taking them here. Patriots, they've not been playing their best football as of late, and this could easily be a trap game. But what do you guys think of my picks this week? Do you agree with them, and what other changes would you make? If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and sub. It lets me know you guys actually enjoy these videos. But anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.